Hey, what's up guys? Craig here for the Tropical Tribe. And in this week's video, I'll be helping you lot get to know me a little bit better by answering the questions that you've asked me over the past couple of weeks. Okay, so the first question is from Swedish Rainbow Garden, who asked how I transitioned from my corporate job into being a gardener full time. I'll be honest, it wasn't the plan. I was in video production before in my corporate job, and I left that thinking that I was going to set up a freelance video production company. And I just kept getting distracted. I kept working in the garden when I should have been trying to work towards building this video production business. And my wife suggested that why don't I retrain in horticulture? If I want to be outside so much, if I want to be working in the garden, why don't I retrain in it so I can do it as a job? And she looked into courses for me, and it was actually really encouraging. And I ended up doing or working towards the RHS level 2 diploma so that I'd have a qualification so that I could apply to some of these gardening roles. So I did it in an interesting way. I didn't want to go back into education full time, so I signed up for a horticultural course online, which did the RHS level 2 design module and the scientific theory one. I had to think then. By doing that distance learning online, I could study for all of the exams. There's 8 exams you have to sit. I could study for them at home, and then I just had to register to sit the exams at my local centre. Luckily, I passed 7 out of the 8 exams. I've got 1 more to resit, which is frustrating. I got complacent about it. I thought it was the easy exam, so I learnt my lesson there. Don't get complacent. Study equally for all of the exams. So I did that, and then at the local college, they did horticultural courses, and it was the practical side of the theory courses that I was doing as distance learning, and I could do that 1 day a week. So I went every Monday or Tuesday, I think it was, and I did 8 hours. No, it wasn't even a full day. It was just 1 morning a week. And that just talks through the basics. And it's things that most of us know if we're gardeners, but it's just good to be able to convert that into a qualification. So I did that, and there were so many other people on that course like me, and like some of you out there, that are in jobs that we're just not finding that satisfying, and we're looking for a change. And it's nice to be around like-minded people. I was so worried that I'd be going to the college and I would be some creepy old guy in a school of kids that are studying at college, but that wasn't the case at all. The age range was so broad, and it's so interesting to see people from all different walks of life, all different ages, all wanting to retrain to get into horticulture or just learning for knowledge. And that was a really good environment for me, because you're around tutors and you're around other people that just want to learn, and you share knowledge, and we're all addicted to learning about plants, and being around a big group of people that have that mindset is just really beneficial. While I was there, I was volunteering at Abbotsbury Subtropical Gardens. It's quite local to me, and I wanted just to get to know what it was like to work full-time as a gardener. I could only give up 1 day a week, so I went there 1 full day a week, 8 hours a day, and just asked them to give me jobs. I don't want special treatment. I just wanted to get stuck in. So I was digging out the silt traps, weeding underneath the spikiest plants possible, which I'm sure they gave me as a test just to see if I would come back, and I just wasn't a leisure gardener. And yeah, that was good. And then luckily for me, the college that I was studying 1 day or 1 morning a week at had a vacancy for a full-time gardener. And at the time I was doing bar work to keep money coming in, the occasional bit of freelance video production, but not all that much. So I applied for this job, went through the interviews, and I got it. So I was working full-time as a gardener at the college that I was studying at, and they were good. They let me have that 1 morning a week off so that I could go and finish my course. That worked a treat. I couldn't believe my luck. It felt like I was falling on my feet. It was a great team, one of the best bosses I've worked for. And out of the blue, I got an email from Abbotsbury Subtropical Gardens, where I'd previously been volunteering, offering me a job. I was torn. I was in a gardening job that I loved, and I had no reason to leave other than the fact that Abbotsbury, which is a garden full of the tropical plants that you all know I love, offered me a job. So I went and spoke to them, and they made they made an offer in a tropical garden. So I took that, and I was so nervous to tell the college that I was going to leave the job. I'd only been there for 3 months, and they'd been great to me, like offering me full-time gardening work before I'd actually got qualified. But I did that, and I made the transition. And yeah, I've been working at Abbotsbury since. I'm currently furloughed because of the coronavirus, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get back to normal soon. Okay, just to summarise that, because I was waffling. My transition from corporate into working full-time in gardening was leaving my job, working bar shifts to keep money coming in and doing the occasional bit of private gardening work, studying distance learning for the theory sides of the RHS diploma, and then sitting the exams locally, and then doing a morning a week at a local college to do the practical course. And like I say, a lot of it was simple stuff, but it's just taking that knowledge and turning it into a qualification. If I were to do it differently, I would have got qualified through the distance learning and 1 morning a week courses before I left my job, because then you can make a smoother transition into gardening already qualified before you even leave your job. The next question is sort of a follow-up question. Do I regret my change in career path? No. Not at all. There's balances, there's pros and cons. On the pro side of things, I am so much happier, I am healthier, and I can wake up every morning of the week and not feel like I'm going to work. This is embarrassing to say because the bosses might see it, but I still can't believe they're paying me to do gardening. I mean, I would do it for free. I'm not going to. Please keep paying me. But I'm just happier. The con side of it is that the pay for gardening is so much less than corporate. And it's a shame because it's hard work and you need so many years of knowledge to be able to do a good job. And I don't understand why the pay is so much less. But then you've got a balance. Do you want to be happy every day of the week? Or just that day you get the paycheck and miserable for the rest of the month? And for me, I was lucky enough to have a fairly well-paid job early on, and I appreciate that so much more now that the money isn't coming in. But I'm happier gardening, and I'm glad I made the decision. I don't think you can beat it. It's just being outdoors, doing physical work, and something you love. I feel extremely lucky to be able to have done that this early in my life. So many people that I speak to say that they didn't realize they needed to make that decision until 10, 15, 20 years into working in an office. If you want to do it, go for it. I'm happier, so no, I don't regret it. Okay, on to the next question from Oliver. What got me into tropical plants? My family, especially on my mum's side, are obsessed with exotic and tropical plants. My grandparents on my mum's side, apparently I didn't get to know them. They died when I was quite a bit younger. But they were into palm trees, exotic plants. They even built a house in the style of a Spanish villa. And I quite like this, though they shouldn't have done it and none of you are allowed to, but they used to visit the gardens, the tropical gardens that I now work at, with a pair of secateurs and a plastic bag, and he would go around and take cuttings from all of the plants he liked and would go home, grow them on and plant out his tropical garden. I just think it's weird how history is, like, we're moving down the lines in the generations and I'm working where he used to do that. But I repeat, do not take cuttings from public gardens. Gardeners work hard to grow those plants, to show people. Don't chop them down. My mum and my dad, or more my mum, my dad just does what he's told in the garden. She is into tropical plants and she probably got that off of her parents. And my uncle probably got it off his parents too. He's massively into exotic gardens and he used to have the most beautiful garden with an enormous fig tree and a summer house built over a deck that looked like it was floating over the pond, and one pond would flow into another, enormous bamboo. And I think it's being around those environments and people that like those plants. I've just caught the bug. And it's all on my, like the tropical side of it is all on my mum's side of the family. Interestingly though, on a side note, on my dad's side of the family, they were all farmers and used to grow vegetables. So horticulture is sort of in there as I look back, and I quite like that. And before, on my dad's side, before they were farmers growing vegetables, they were potters. They used to pull clay out from the ground and make horticultural pots. It's weird, isn't it? It's really, really weird. But yeah, that's how I got into tropical gardening. Just a family obsessed with tropical plants. My sister's just got her first house and she's now taking all the cuttings that I can give her, and she's buying loads of plants and she's starting her own tropical garden. I think tropical gardens, they just keep giving and giving, and it's just an escape, isn't it? Okay, then a question from Sean, who was the apprentice at the college I worked at the time, but now works there full time. Well done, mate. He asked me what plant was the first plant that really made me think, wow, plants are cool. And I've thought about this for a long time and I can't pinpoint it on one plant, but I think it was more the process of propagation that made me think plants are cool, especially cuttings. My nan used to be big into houseplants, and I remember taking cuttings of her Tradescantia, that's quite a dull trailing houseplant. And the speed that it rooted, and you just get a new plant. If the Schefflera is a cutting from a plant that my grandparents had in their sun lounge, and it was enormous. And this one's getting to a fair size now. And I don't know, there's just something really cool about propagation from cuttings, just being able to make one plant from another, and you can do it over and over and over again. I think that is what made me think plants are cool early on. And then I like oddball plants. I had Venus flytraps and plants that move when you touch them. Just, yeah. But I think propagation got me into plants first. Oh, my shed. Someone's asking me, am I going to still turn my shed into a jungle hut? I'd like to, yes. But at the moment, I can't get out to buy the materials that I need because so many of the shops are shut. And I'm not really sure what plan I'm going to take. I've got all of the bamboo canes that I cut down, ready to build maybe bamboo window frames, bamboo gutters. But the more I look at the shed and the more my garden develops, I'm thinking rather than going full on jungle hut style, I might try and style it like a Bali garden hut, whatever that is, with like hanging baskets with bromeliads and ferns growing out of coconuts, that sort of thing. And I think I will frame the windows with bamboo and maybe put some sort of trellis up. But yes, to answer the question, I am going to do something to the shed at some point. It's just waiting for the time where I can go out and buy everything I need. And then when I've got the time to do it. But I do want to do something to the shed. And before anyone asks, I will be doing something with the path too at some point. But again, it comes down to money. I just need to save some pocket money to be able to get it done. Okay, and then the next two questions. Have I considered growing things like palm trees from seed? I'm an impatient gardener. I like fast growing plants that give quick return, which is why I think I like taking cuttings so much. You get a plant from a cutting a lot quicker than you do from seed. And palm trees in particular are some of the slowest growing plants out there. So unfortunately, no, I'm not gonna try and grow palm trees from seed. But other things like say Polonia or Ricinus, I love growing from seed because it's quick and it pleases an impatient gardener like me. Thanks for the question though. And then a question on fertilizer. What do I use? So when we first moved into the garden, it was heavy clay soil. So I used a conditioner in the form of 2 tons of spent mushroom compost, which is mostly chicken poo and straw, but it's rich in organic matter and it breaks up the garden. And for me, that has worked a treat. And now every year since, I just apply a thin mulch of the same stuff, spent mushroom compost on the top. And then throughout the summer, I will fertilise with liquid seaweed and chicken manure pellets. I like to keep it all natural and all organic where I can. I'm going to have a go at making my own liquid seaweed and maybe some nettle fertiliser, because that's really good for these nitrogen loving plants. And that's plants with big leaves and that have just, yeah, they suck up loads of food. Things like the bananas. And what would I suggest for sandy soil? Probably the same thing. Something like spent mushroom compost that is bulky and rich in organic matter, because that will help that sandy soil hold moisture. But it all comes down to what plants you're planning to grow. If you like succulents and cacti and Mediterranean plants, they will enjoy that sandy soil. Things like echiums will grow in sandy soil and you get enormous flowers out of them. So you might not even need to enrich it. It depends what sort of plants you're looking to grow. So there we go. Hopefully that answers all of your questions, but if there's anything that any of you want to ask, just whack it in the comments below and I'll try and get back to you. As per normal, if you want to join the Tropical Tribe, don't forget to hit subscribe. Now, in the coming videos, I'm going to be getting back out in the garden because we haven't been out there for a while and a lot has changed. Thank you for watching and I will see you all next week.